and get as much detail as possible. Okay. Please be careful with these bats to start with until I get more in here, because splinters are not fun. Dampen the bat. Make sure your clay's wedged into a Hershey Kiss shape. Make sure that the wheel is turning counterclockwise. You center with the heel of your hand against the clay on the side. Make sure that your legs are up high enough so that you can put your elbow into your legs or your stomach and be over the wheel. In general, your stool height should be at least level or slightly higher than the wheel head. You center with the side of your hand across the top of the clay, and the side of the hand only has to go from the corner. Let the knuckles ride right over the inside corner, or the corner that's closest to your body. Doesn't have to go the whole length. Begin by squeezing down on top of the clay and by locking the hands together in some way. You can keep the sponge in the top so you can keep it wet. Center your body by pushing down hard here and hard here, and by locking this hand against this hand. It is not muscle. It is centering your body and gradually moving your body into the ball of clay. So it is being steady and still. And if you're using muscle, you're using way too much tension on the clay, and it's like holding your arm out like this and trying to hold something steady. You can't do it if you lock your elbows and you're doing a lot of tension. So push down hard, push the clay into the side hand. Gradually let the side hand move so that it widens into a flat profile. If it gets dry, dampen it again. Push down on top. Release slow. Release slow means that you take your hands away very gradually from the clay. If you release fast, the clay will wobble and go off center. So center, pushing up and down on the hands. Practice this wheel wedge. Practice moving your hands. And then release slow. And after it's centered, slow wheel speed down. Let your thumbs find center. Just rest them on the side of the clay. Let them find center. Squeeze a hole straight down into the ball of clay. Leave a 1/4 inch. Fill the hole full of water and wipe the thumb straight across. Notice my arms are still resting against my body so that they're stable. Recenter against the heel of the hands. A couple fingers on the inside to hold the rim up. Squeeze your body through your hands into the ball of clay and close in the top and the base so that you get a Hershey's Kiss shape again. So, what was your question? You had a questioning look?
So you gotta do that to make it go back in?
Yes.
You don't curl your fingers out? That's not pulling it, that's just getting it?
This is just getting it
You
centered.
squeeze this hand or this hand? 'Cause I don't know which hand.
You're only centering your body, and I'm only putting fingers in here to keep this from collapsing.
Yeah.
So now I have a wall thickness that's thicker here, thinner here, but it's turned in like this. So it's under control. The base should always be wider. The base is what supports it. The wheel is turning this way, counterclockwise. So you want to operate on the clay from 3 o'clock, which is here, to 6 o'clock, which is here, or even as much as 7 o'clock. Some people can do this. Ben-Owen is one of them. Ben-Owen the third can throw way over here and with upside down hands, and we have a couple of students who sometimes do that. But in general, about 4 o'clock, fingers are vertical Left hand in, right hand out. Let's repeat that mantra, please. Left hand in, right hand out. Thank you very much. Push straight down. Curl the fingertips into the clay.
Both sides?
Both sides. Gently on the inside is more supportive. Take that curl of clay from the bottom all the way to the top. Release slow. Compress the top. After each pull, to keep it strong, I'm just squeezing thumb outside, finger inside, finger across, or sponge across. Keep it wet as you're doing that. Dampen the clay evenly. You don't have to drown it, but it has to be wet. Left hand in, right hand out. Squeeze straight down, or push straight down, and then curl your fingertips into the clay. Move that ridge of or ribbon of clay from the bottom all the way to the top. Release slow. Compress the top. Dampen the clay. All right, at some point, if you're throwing big pieces of clay, your hands cannot touch each other, but your arms can still be supported against your body. So fingers are opposite each other, push straight down, curl the fingertip into the clay, and move that ridge of clay.
Is your finger underneath the sponge?
Yeah, my finger's underneath the sponge. I will move it so you can see it next pull. So dampen the clay. Fingers go straight down. Fingers are opposite each other, hands are vertical. Notice the ridge of clay move from the bottom all the way to the top. As you get to the top, you can lessen the pressure because you're moving less clay. When you get to the top, release slow, compress the top. All right, so when you get the walls thin and straight, and they're about 8 or 10 inches tall, which is our next assignment after coffee cups, be prepared. Don't have that look of fear.
I'm sorry.
Take the water out of the inside of the clay. Compress so as you make the bottom stronger. Compress just means you're pushing down with pressure, not just picking up the water. All right, so we have a cylinder form of even wall thickness. Our assignment after coffee cups is going to be cylinders that we turn into pitchers. So I'm going to push with the inside hand and round this form out a little bit. I'm supporting it with the outside fingers. I'm also still thinning the walls a little bit. When I get to the shoulder, I'm going to push inside and support that with the inside fingers. I'll get to the top and release slow. So we've widened the shape out.
I have a question. When you do when you pick it up like that, you said to push down, like.
I said to push down. When I'm saying push down, I mean push your fingers into the board so that you know you're going all the way to the bottom of the piece of clay.
Even on the inside?
Yes. All right, so I'm going to use the metal rib on the outside to help support the shape. I'm pushing out with the inside fingers. This will remove some of the throwing rings. It's more surface. It'll give me a little more control over the shape. I want to do this a couple times until I clean this clay up and get some of the slurry off. We probably need to mention on the video that we have music by Tom Petty.
And that he just died.
too bad. All right, so we have a basic picture shape. We're going to go with that basic picture shape. As soon as I can find my tools. All right, we want to do a reversed curve at the bottom. With the curved side of the wooden rib, I'm going to remove some of the clay from the bottom edge because you can't always get deep enough. I'm going to cut the 45-degree bevel underneath the bottom. Clean that edge up with the sponge, and I'm also going to just mark with the fingernail a little ridge here that'll help slow down glaze, and it'll be a difference between the foot, the body, and the neck. And we're going to turn this into a spout area, so I want to thin the lip at the top and round it off with the inside fingers just a little bit. To cut this off the wheel, I'm going to take the wire, pull it really tight, pull it underneath the pottery form, left hand down, right hand up. Put as much arm on the clay as possible, lift, and move it to the board. After about 5 minutes, or 6 minutes, or 7 minutes, or you've thrown a board of pictures, then you want to come back and make a spout. While I've got your attention, we're going to make the spout. Now, we really want this to be drier on the shoulder of the pot when we do this, but we can do it if we're careful. So we're going to pull a spout. You wet your fingers, wet the inside of the lip, and gently rotate out the spout shape. To thin that shape a little bit, wet your fingers, thumb inside, fingers outside, pull up on the spout so that you thin the edge, and then go back and clean the edge up. Turn the spout down, the edge of the spout down, so that it will pour without dripping, and then squeeze it together so you have a more interesting shape. You can mark this so you separate the spout even more, both visually and physically, from the shape of the body of the pot. We'll let this dry to leather hard. We'll put a handle on. All right, you got it? Again, I'm going to post it on Shobi. I'm going to go make the account right now and give you the instructions for getting your free account, and then I will post it later. If Sheila comes in, particularly since she knows how to post better than I do, but we'll get it on there. So the assignment is to practice throwing on the wheel. We'll do other alternatives next week for making cups and containers, hand-built alternatives, and some alternatives using mold processes. Questions? So, what's the mantra?
Left hand in, right hand out.
And let's add to it, release slow. Maybe somebody could put it to music. Thank you.